Okay, is this the bottom or is this the new trap that everyone is expecting? Should we see more lows again? Okay, and of course, when you see here, see that the market is really starting to rally again. I think most likely to is hit to around 80 to 85. So we have like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple. So far, so good. Okay, even though we have some escalation going on with the negotiation between Trump and Iran. I think it was yesterday, right? It was a false call, market pump. Then after that, it dipped back down again. Okay, Iran clearly denies all allegation. Okay, whatever Trump have mentioned, they are trying to buy time. Okay, so no concrete talks yet or agreement is being confirmed at the moment. So yeah, you can see right now, Bitcoin crypto market is still at that range. Bitcoin is somewhere around 70K. Is 70.5 in the moment. Okay, and of course we look at the S&P as well, like MicroStrategy, okay, Bitcoin, okay, all around 1.4, 2.2 respectively. So yeah, I think already at the extreme level or the extreme fear, I would say. If we look at the extreme fear as well, we already hit again at around 11. I think the lowest we hit somewhere around 8. Okay, around 8. And of course, the lower it goes, the higher the chances where the market could rebound from that. Okay, so probably a temporary relief. Okay, but nonetheless, we look at the stock market as well. Stock also see is already a verge of about having a major reader as we already peak, most likely for the S&P, Dow Jones, Nasdaq. Okay, all right. So stocks pull back, right, due to negotiation. Okay, so the US-Iran negotiation, right, due to that. Okay, so yeah, you see the likes of S&P, Dow Jones, Nasdaq went down. Okay, 0.18%, 0.37%, 0.84%. Okay, so Iran authorities again rejected claims of active negotiations, calling them fake news. Right, so Trump at the moment he's buying time to get it. Okay, and I think US now is shaking. Okay, we're really not in a good position. You look at it. Strategically, I think Iran is much more favorable to be the ball is in Iran's court rather than the US, if you look at it. Okay, so I think they know what they're doing. Okay, I think Iran is really quite confident that they are winning this battle. So meanwhile, if we talk about the markets, okay, so market for crypto, especially right now, probably at least one more round or another relief rally. Okay, maybe it could, possible to hit 80 to 85. I think that's the final for another lower high, and then we're going to see another lows again, right? Leading up to Q2 to the second half of this year. So even we have analysts like Michael Van Der Poel, okay, mentioning what here? Okay, consistently higher lows for Bitcoin since early February crash from around 60 to 62. So it doesn't say that they are out of the woods entirely, as those higher lows trigger a lot of liquidity if the market gets that, right? So however, overall, as long as we get these levels, I think that we are able to reach 77 key, right? So yeah, we can see Bitcoin constantly prints higher low since the crash early in February, right? Higher low. And then it's a great sign. It shows that we're about to witness more strength. But it doesn't say we're out of it, right? So like I said, this is just a temporary short-term relief. Short-term hitting around 80 to 85, and then that's it. And then we're going to see maybe some correction over there, slowly tick down again, create a lower highs again, or new lower lows. Okay, from there. Then we look at whales activity as well. Bitcoin now, we can see all those whales are slowly starting to be alive again. Okay, so whale activity has become historically quiet as key stakeholders debate. Okay, on the Clarity Act. Okay, so yeah, we can see they got about 6,470 daily. Okay, 100K of BTC transfers, lowest since September. Okay, inactive, but I think most likely behind the scene they are actually accumulating. I think that's a key thing to take note of. Let's see. Okay, So whales are now slowly starting to pick up. This is the most important. What's the situation? So overall, I would say the best case scenario right now, Bitcoin goes to 80 to 85. That's the max. Worst case scenario, we did now. Okay, we go down, hit to a new lows below, let's say around 50, okay, 40s within, let's say within April, May. I think that could be the extreme level of bottoming out solution or a huge calculation. Okay, rather than waiting on. Okay, but right now, if the Bitcoin continues to rally all the way to 80 to 85, then probably we should say most likely we can target market bottom to be somewhere around October or Q4 this year. So these are the two scenarios that I'm looking at. And then talking about on the fear and greed index. Okay. So right now, again, we are still around 10, 11, okay, of the fear and greed. It's been quite a while, actually. I think been like almost like 3 months since the early of this year. Okay. And this is during the bear market. You know, bear market, usually you get this kind of index. It's usually somewhere around fear and extreme fear, right? So global crypto market remained entrenched in a state of profound caution as a widely monitored fear and crypto fear and greed index, right, registered a reading of 11. So a slight 3-point rise from previous lows, yet firmly within the extreme fear territory. So every time when there's an extreme fear territory, you know that it is time to actually buy. That is the thing that you usually tend to take note. That is during the bull market as well. But if you are in the bear market, when you are seeing extreme fear, usually you will tend to put on hold and to think back, is this really worth buying the dip? Is this really worth buying the fear that is happening? Because the sentiment is already bearish, it is already downtrend. Furthermore, we are already in a bear market. The whole structure already broken. So what sort of conviction that you are going to buy, that you're going to really enter? So fear and greed index reveals persistent market anxiety right now. Okay, so this serves as a crucial barometer for the emotional temperature of the crypto space. Okay, so investors closely track this movement to gauge market cycles and potential turning points, right? So yeah, I think overall we look at the all-time lows, right, of the index. We gotten somewhere around the COVID period, COVID down, which is on March 2020, which is at an extreme low of 8. And then Terra Luna was on June 2022. Okay, 4 years back, it went to a low of 6. That was an extreme level. And that is during the bear market. Okay, that's during the bear market. Let me look at November. Okay, 2020 to 2022, right? FTX collapse. And then 2023 January. Okay, all right. So 2022 was on 20, index 20. And then index 25, right? Fear index 25 was post FTX contagion. So you can see all these events that is happening right now. Okay. All right. So you can see, right, the current reading of 11 places the market in a historically oversold emotional state. Okay. So some interpret sustained extreme fear for as potential contrarian indicator. So when fear becomes overwhelming, okay, then selling pressure may exhaust itself, which is also kind of true. But you're in this bear market, no matter what point that you're actually buying, okay, the conviction level is not. Retail is not here to actually buy backs. So you're actually end of the day, you're catching a falling knife here. Because we haven't really seen the bottoming out on the ranging period, the long winter ranging period, okay, where it goes sideways for months to years. We have not get that yet. Okay, so right now, like I said, first half of this year is to stay defensive. Second half only start to be offensive, stay attacking on the second half of this year. Okay, so you need to have like a strategy right now, all right, on how you're going to strategize your portfolio. Okay, how you're going to de-risk, okay, on your altcoins holding. And then how do you need to accumulate more dry powder for the second half of the year? So important. Okay, so a lot of people are making the same mistake again, being a backholder from the last 2 cycles, and then right all the way up, all the way down. And then coming into this new cycle again, you do not have dry powder. So what they do, they take from your hard-earned money again, salary or whatever business, and then they buy all these dumb coins again. And then they repeat the same thing. Right? So yeah, so overall we can see, right, fear and greed index. So I think we should know better during the bear market, no matter how extreme fear it is. I don't think we are in a position to actually buy, first thing, because the conviction level is not there. Sentiment is totally bearish. That is my point of view. Okay, while some other like short-term traders, they take advantage, right? Take leverage. Super extreme fear, yeah. Short-term trades doesn't really excite me because I'm not really a short-term person. But I'm more like a patient, focusing more on the patient game here. Okay, buying, accumulating, DCing, dollar cost averaging, okay, from months to months to years, right? So that is the game that we are in, not short-term. Okay, so yeah, this is the fear and greed index. Okay, and then talking about stable coins, again, talking about opportunities in the B2B world, see. So all these companies now are slowly starting to embrace stablecoin solutions, not only for their own services, but I think they are also opening up all those ramps, okay, payment gateways, okay, for their customers, okay, for clients, that they can able to use the services. So yeah, I think if you give another 1 or 2 years more, I think most of these big companies, okay, they are going to really focus on stable coins very, very fast. They move very fast. Okay, you can see the companies like Circle as well, the issuer of USDC. You can see how many companies are really engaging. Okay, Circle to actually, implementing the services of the stablecoin solution for the company. So we have the likes of 𝗧𝗶𝗺𝗀𝘀, okay, so 𝗧𝗶𝗺𝗀𝗀 pivots, and then we have Deloitte, Big Four. Okay, they are moving into the stablecoin industry. Okay, then you can see their stock also went up. Okay, the company has raised 134 million. Okay, from major investors like Tether and Framework Ventures to support this shift. That is a huge amount. Okay, so we are building the premier public market vehicle to access cash flow within the growing stablecoin economy. So you can see how big, how huge this stablecoin opportunity is for those big companies. Okay, so we see Deloitte Canada, okay, partnership with Stablecorp. Okay, so this shift is happening in Canada, okay, in a more regulated way. Okay, so we can see already what Canada is doing. Massive. Okay, talk about stable coins. So this shows that stable coins are becoming part of the official financial system, not just niche crypto idea. So you can see it's becoming a big deal already. Okay, talking about stable coins, we're not talking about Bitcoin and other altcoins that you mentioned. Stable coins alone, that means USDC, USDT. These are the big timers. Okay, so you can see it proves of huge utility. It's not just a USDT or USDC. It's not just a stable coin. It proved there's value. It proved there's major importance there. Okay, for those stable coins. Okay, so yeah, we can see, right? Stable coins present a significant opportunity for Canada's payments landscape. Okay, so combining Deloitte's expertise with Stablecorp's regulated setup, they are creating a safe and compliant way for banks to use stablecoin like QCAD. Okay, so help the bank move money faster. Okay, and then secondly, reduce costs. Third, avoid delays like usual T2 settlement system. So you can see already where they are heading from a TradFi moving into this area right now. From a traditional finance, where you usually have to wait for a 2-day settlement. Now, with stable coins, okay, you can see it actually move, it actually scale, it gives the banks and the companies more efficiency. Okay, all right, everything is moving very quickly. Okay, the cost of it is super duper cheap. Okay, you use like layer 2, like your Arbitrum, Optimism, base, doesn't cost you a single cent at all. It's like 0.0001 in terms of transferring as gas fees. Okay, so you can see the potential. It's huge. These are the stablecoin transaction model. Okay, you can see leading is USDC, right? So USDC is the main leading indicator for stablecoin. Okay, because I think this is highly regulated. This is under Coinbase. Okay, all right. Then secondly is USDT Tether. Then we have other stablecoin as well, but usually we go for USDC and USDT. So these are the two main ones. Huge opportunity. Look at the volume, it's huge. Okay, overall we see 1.8 trillion for USDC alone, right? USDC or USDT alone, you can see here, 1.8 trillion. Okay, yeah, USDC is behind, second behind of USDT. All right, so yeah, we can say like PayPal also having their own stable coins like PYUSD, which is also very good, very efficient. I think now if you have a PayPal account and if you are receiving funds, right? So it doesn't matter what form of funds. I think you can able to request payment using PYUSD, and then you can able to transfer out to another Web3 wallet or whatever. I think this is the current situation, and I think they have already implemented for those people who are using PayPal. So that is the game changer here for stable coins. I think this is going to be huge, huge opportunity. Okay. All right. So moving on next. Talking about the bear market, where are we now? And is the bottom here? Where is the bottom exactly? That's the thing. So you're going to see here. So this is the stochastic RSI by 𝗶𝗺𝗀𝗀𝘀. So what's happening now? From January to November. So it's actually predicting about 10 months. This was the last previous cycles. February 2022, for about 11 months. What happened is that we can see already that the market consolidating means waiting for another drop again. So yeah, according to the typical time frame, once it entered, the bear market will last until November this year, which line up with the halving cycle theory, which is kind of true. Every 4-year cycle tends to rhyme. And then the big thought now is that all seems too easy. Surely something has to be different. Right? That's what other people are trying to prove a point, right? With the 5-year cycle ISM. Okay, and then they are trying to prove a point that this cycle is different. The more they change, the more they stay the same. The more the narrative change, the more the cycle remains the same. End of the day, it comes back to the same thing. Okay, so but the differences are typically subtle, right? Bitcoin's cycle has always found its way to stay on track. There you go. Okay, so now Q1, okay, price is actually dropping. Okay, peak on October last year. So we should expect 10 months right now until November, according to the 4-year cycle. Okay. And of course, that's why I'm saying second half of this year, we want to really go into offensive to actually accumulate to dollar cost average. Okay. So for now, okay, we want to play defense. Okay, according to the stochastic RSI. So we are here again at this extreme lows of the bear market zone, 0 level. So should we see price again to continue to rally, or should we get one final last drop and then another consolidation, one final calculation, and then finally it bottoms? Well, that could be the case. Let's see. All right. Then, of course, moving on. Right. Okay, we calling top crypto. Okay. So bear market bottom targeting, right? So how to find the bottom? That's another thing here. Okay. All right. So the very bottom of the green band looks like it could be a reasonable place to look for Bitcoin cycle bottom. That area is currently at 42K. So this is the green band, right? Okay. Right. And then we tested here, 60K, rebound. Now it's slowly ascending up. Okay, slowly ascending up. I think, yeah, that could be the final lower high. Another push towards the downside. So, but the band will move lower as we get further in time. So probably 35K or so. It's a reasonable guess based on this chart. Probably yes. Okay, probably realistically, my expectation probably at least 40K, the lowest. Okay, 30K will be too extreme, but maybe it could also go all the way there, right? For those extreme cases. So, in my opinion, the rightmost yellow circle, right, should be moved more to the right.
okay, to where I drew the blue and orange line across. Okay, so this is one of many ways modeling of Bitcoin price. Okay, right. So yeah, so as long as the price continue to remain ranging, or probably if it varies all the way to the orange line, that could mark a lower high. Then probably the green band could also move up along the way. Okay, due to that. So bear market bottoming, target price 42K. Okay, right. Let's see. I think it's quite realistic in this kind of approach. 35K, I would say probably a little bit extreme. Okay, but nonetheless, anything is possible. 40K range should be an ideal level, okay, for a really great fire sale to buy the dip. Okay. Next, okay, we talk about rotation of Bitcoin against gold, gold against Bitcoin. So we are already at the extreme lows, right? Bitcoin is already at the, at this kind of low against gold. Because all this while, the last 2 cycles, Bitcoin have been outperforming against gold, right? So what happened is that we have peak around mid of 2025. And then finally, again, or mid 2025, we peak. And then finally get a pullback, huge correction. And we are again at this level here, which is the 2023 levels. Okay. All right. So should we see a movement back? Should we see Bitcoin start to regain its possession again against gold? Okay. Or should we see another pullback again? Or gold will continue to drive? Okay. So that could be the thing here. Right. So yeah. So Bitcoin gold is attacking the macro. Right. So you can see here, range low from below while performing a potential mini cycle based on this level. So first touch and attempt, rejection and more ranging is still likely. Okay, so you can see here on gold. Yep, so now it is retesting on this current resistance now. Okay, this is like a major resistance as well. So it needs to break and maintain this level of support. Okay, all right. Okay, so yeah, I think probably now it's trying to test. Let's see. If it does break and confirm this level of support, I think probably we could see a movement back up again. So I think this would be a short-lived rally due to the bear market. Then, of course, moving on next, talk about Airdrop. So Airdrop, you can see pearly lapse. You can be able to start claiming your drop today. Claim is live today as well. Okay, so current price is at 13 cents. And this guy got that about 1214. Is it really worthwhile to actually farm during this time, during this bear market? Because I think a lot of people complain. Okay, they're not getting the rewards. It's pretty much decent, about $157. But I think this is like about 3 to 6 months work for this much. Okay, so you got 2 options. You can claim now, or take 20% instantly, rest is gone. Oh, this is really too much. And then claim and stake lock for 100%. For 6 months, I get full allocation. Wow, this is really good. So it's like take it or leave it. Now it's like they force everyone to lock to get the full allocation for 6 months. So you imagine during the bear market, you have no choice but to lock in order to get the full allocation. But if you look at the current value right now of this drop, you don't even know what's going to happen after 6 months. Are they going to continue, or are they going to just abandon the project? So my take usually is always take the 20%, and just take this 20% and move on. Okay, this is a bear market vibes. Okay, companies will really get tested during the toughest time, especially this bear market. So 13 cents. Wow. We only came 20%. So the way I look at it, if you take the 20% is much more better than staking the whole thing for 6 months and hoping that the drop will appreciate it in the next 6 months, which I highly doubt so. Okay, that is the case where most of the time when people who stake 100% end up, the value drops more than 90% at the end of the day. Okay, and then of course moving on next with Vega ETH, again another delay. I think they run the ICO, I think last year around October or November, not mistaken. Okay, right? Sale went live on 27 October, 5 months until now, no TGE. Okay, they've been holding the investors' money. Okay, and then they give additional allocation. They bought somewhere around 10 cents. Pre-market was at 14 cents. So at the moment, it's still profit. Okay, but it is already 75% down. Now the current pre-market listing price is 55 cents, but current pre-market is 14 cents. 14 cents, but your initial cost is 10 cents. So this is like a waiting time bomb for those of you who have invested in this project called 𝗧𝗶𝗺𝗀𝘀. A lot of hype, a lot of pump. Okay, you can see this guy also 5 months ago, more envied and wanted to be this dude. Crazy, none of us now wanted to be this guy right now. Pre-market already down 75% from missing price. And then down again 45% from sale price. Wow. So the risk is higher than the reward during this time. That's the thing. Especially towards the end of the year, moving to a bear market. This is a thing that you have to really consider, especially going to ICO. See, now you already invest, pay. Now they hold your money. They are in control of the situation. You're at the mercy of the company, right? So now they're going to delay. What can you do, right? They're going to delay 𝗧𝗧𝗺𝗀𝘀. Or they can delay until next year can launch. So what can you do, right? This year, bear market, oh, they don't want to launch. And they are probably not going to bother about refund. Okay, so that's the thing here about investing in ICOs. Don't invest, okay, if you're not comfortable to lose. Okay, all right, this is the thing. And then here, talk about each exchange TGE. Okay, will be around end of this month. 6 more days. Okay, so you have accumulated points. You might want to continue to do more for this drop. Okay, right, for each X. It's a DEX actually. So yeah, you want to check. Okay, if you are doing this, then you might want to really push for the next 6 days. Then, of course, talking about backpack, I think backpack is one of the most disappointed airdrop as well for this year. I think there are a lot of expectation here for backpack in the Solana community, especially those who are holding the MATLabs NFT. But again, I've been telling people not to buy the NFT. Or why on earth would you want to buy the NFT? Normally, the risk is higher than what? True enough. Okay, what happened is that the backpack, the allocation is not even worth the time and the cost that you even farm this project. I think the fees is called the fees that you burn cost more than this airdrop now. Okay, so I think a lot of people are actually disappointed, but you can still claim if you've been doing backpack, you might want to go and claim. Okay, for those of you doing the leverage trading on backpack exchange, on claim, and then of course your MATLabs NFT as well. Okay, so if you're holding that, probably I think you should qualify, but again, not much. You're still at the losing point here if you are holding all these NFTs. So that's the thing. I don't understand why people want to buy NFT just for the sake of it. But they don't look at the risk to reward. Why? Now, why are you going to buy the NFT? Why can't you just farm? Okay, just stick to the farming, the usual farming, instead of being passive. Buy the NFT and then just hit passively. Okay, that is the risk. Everyone can be able to do that, right? Just buy and be passive. But the hardest thing to do is to farm actively almost every day. Swap, bridging, these are the things they should be doing. Okay, and then farming the volume, one buy, one sell. That is how you actually get reward, not by just buying the NFT and hope that the NFT can be able to reward you. Okay, life-changing games or so. And then moving on next with the coin market cap. So where are we now? We are at around 2.45 trillion. BTC is at 7.3. ETH 2.12179. Okay, so Solana 92. Gainers for today of Siren 136. 𝗧𝗺𝗀𝗀𝗀𝘀, heavy shield by 𝗧𝗶𝗺𝗀𝗀𝗀. Non-stop shilling. I think their investors are currently underwater at the moment. Okay, being pressured as well to deliver. And then we have Fetch. Okay, 11%. Render 8.8%, almost $2 again. So I think all these are just a short-term relief. You might want to really start to
de-risk. You see all these gains right now. These are opportunities for you to sell at a discount, sell with a loss, but with a discount. So that instead of losing 90%, maybe you lose 70 or 80%, example. Right? Now, all these are just really rally. Okay, it's not going to go to a new all-time high. I can tell you this. All these are short-term relief rally, short-term plays, I can tell you. And then talking about the technical side, so you can see the dominance. Dominance for BTC, we can see the price is actually heading towards the downside. Okay, heading towards the downside. All right, and then of course the setup as well is below the middle band. And the slight change of direction from buy to sell, pull back, now it's consolidating. So where is the altcoin season? Everyone says, there's no altcoin season, right? So down consolidate is only BTC at the moment. Then your middle band play in the part here, 59.28. So it needs to break that. Then your critical support here, right? Or this level here will be 57.7. Look at daily. What is daily doing? Break below the middle band, pull back, rejected at the middle band. So we're going to see for today, can it able to break above 51%? Then ETH against Bitcoin. Is this the moment for ETH to really shine against BTC? Let's see. Okay, so much for the up season. Every time up season, we're getting fed up to hear that. Again, same thing, nothing much has changed. The middle band there needs to break. And your critical support, right? So important here. Here, this level here, or even this level. It needs to maintain, right? And then a lot of levels that we need to watch to break higher. We're going to look into this level as well. Then following to this level. Okay, 004. Again, this level 04071. Look at the VA time frame. Momentum sell, back with the entry sell. Still downtrend, still below the middle band. So which means still downtrend. When you look at daily. Okay, extreme sell, pullback, price rejected and the re-entry sell. So how many times? 1, 2, and 3. 3 daily candles still getting rejected on the sell zone. So next destination is where? Most likely here, go back yet again. Then we look at H4. What is H4 doing? Pump consolidation, sideways. So we're going to see whether or not this top level can break out. Okay, so that's today against Bitcoin. And then on the dominance for USDT. So important here. Monday, I think we should expect a reversal coming in. Then we're going to see, let's see. Okay. Support zone down here, 6.72. Okay, following up by this level here, 6.06. So if you look at the Fibonacci, we take from this high to this low. Our next level will be red here. Golden ratio 6.99 or 7%. Okay, dropping it to 6.36 for USDT dominance. So it's still consolidating. I'm not surprised if it continues to go lower. We test back here, 6.91, and then continuation back here again for 6.32. Okay, so that is USDT dominance. Moving on to crypto, 71.3 now for BTC. So look at Monday. So look at the Monday, no reversal candle at all, and we have another like 6 more days left. Should we see this candle form like engulfing, and then we will continue to test back here at 2.4. Should we see that, or should we continue to go lower again? Test here, 58. Okay, at this critical support, and then continuation again towards the downside. Yeah, which is this level of 0.7. Okay, so yeah, I think probably that's the case here for the support. If we look at the weekly time frame, what do we see now? Momentum, go back to the ranges of 1, 2, and 3. 3 weekly candles rejected on the sell zone here. Now this is the 4th time again trying to test. And it's going to be very, very long and tiring here to actually break 73.3 here. So we're going to see, can it able to maintain? Then your middle band as well, 80.60. So the middle band slowly starting to come down yet again. Slowly coming back down. And look at daily time frame. Now, what is daily doing? We see what's happening now. And let's take change of the trend from buy to sell, put back to the sell. So we can see first day, second day rejected, third day now trying to break above the middle sell zone, still getting rejected. Because it needs to continue and to break past the top here at 74.
Okay, then on the H4 time frame, candlestick change of direction from sell to buy, pull back. Now it's only starting to gain back again. Okay, so level here, maybe 71.2, right? The wish to maintain. Then continuation again towards the upside from here around here. So that'll be 72.2. Okay, so that's the thing here. But again, I think there are a lot of rejection here at this level. 72. Okay, and we look at ETH now, 2182. Oh, look at that, quite bearish here. Okay, this will be your critical support. 1785, and then slowly leading up back to this level here as well, probably to 2.5, and then probably the sell zone at 2. So 2.5, 2.8 will be the final levels to watch. Okay, the final rally towards the upside to create a lower high before heading down. Okay, that is my case here. Okay, because for now you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 weekly candles still yet to break sell zone. Then we look at daily as well. Still rejected on this sell zone, 1, 2, and 3. This is the third day already. Still having a hard time to break past the sell zone. So there could be a case where we continue to go down. And then slowly testing all these critical support below 2K, 1.9. Look at the H4 time frame also, you can see, okay, price hovering at the sell zone and inside the momentum. You can see it. So I think there could be a case, probably market might take a bit. Now let's look at hyperliquid. So hyperliquid yet again outperforming. Look at the setup here for today. Look at the monthly already at the sell zone. So it really went all the way up here from 3. This is the final boss resistance right here in 5. And then of course we look at the weekly time frame. You can see already what's weekly doing. Last week closing passed below the top BB. Rejected. Now this new weekly candle is trying to break past the top BB. We're going to see whether the closing can close above. If not, we'll create a reversal candle. If it does, then we straight down. I think this could be near in the coffin for hyperliquid to go down. The $40 range. I think that could be the case. It's most likely market to create a lower high called a previous high. That's it. The rally is done, and they'll slowly start to come back down. I think that could be the cleanup. So hyperliquid, you can see here. Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, power pullback on the increase out. So the next level to what is the resistance here? Use a break, $42. And then your middle band here, about 37. Look at H4. What is H4 doing? Ascending break now is creating a bearish engulfing. This bearish engulfing could be very crucial. Yeah, I think this is finally coming to an end. And then 38 will be next again, 38.75 for hyperliquid. Okay, hyperliquid. And what else we can see here? I think they are not as well. Let's look at big cancer tau. And tau USDT. Okay, so big tensor tau is up again. But if you look at the setup here, massive shilling by 𝗧𝗶𝗺𝗀𝗀. So the bottom was at, well, this was the bottom here at what, 142. 142. Now it's at 1. So you consider 1x from the lows. 160% from the extreme lows. Okay, and then the next resistance is right here. 430. Weekly time frame, what's happening? Candlestick change of direction from sell to buy. Okay, and then pull back, break up again. So if this weekly candle can close past the top for this week, I think next level I'm going to watch is here. 457. So a lot of shilling right now. And then daily momentum consolidation pump. This was at 260 level, 260, 260, 366. So it's about, wow, 44% from there. Okay, so big tensor tau is up at the moment. And then we're going to move on next. Let's look at XLM. XLM, yes. Standard movements, old coin. So yeah, we can see actually what's happening. Pump, dump, lower high compared to previous high, break. So yeah, I think now is slowly starting to come back, but I think this could be a short term reversal back up again to retest on the sell zone before hitting that at 22 cents. Okay, 22 cents, and then moving up to the middle band here at around 26 cents. Look at the weekly time frame. Pump down descending. I think this could be another reversal back up again, short term. So short term will give you about the middle band here, 20 cents at least, and then top maybe will be at 26 cents. Then on daily time frame also you can see fantastic change of direction, pull back now closing inside. So you have to be very watchful on the daily time frame. I think most likely it is at least I think